Hello, everyone, and welcome to the information session for the Telehealth for Students and Youth Request for Proposal. My name is Amelia Moore, and I am the Strategy and Engagement Manager with the City of Seattle's Department of Education and Early Learning. Before we get started, it would be great if you can have a copy of the Request for Proposal overview document in front of you. That's available if you click on the link here on the slide on DEEL's website. And you can have that just in front of you on your computer, or if you'd prefer to print it out and have that in front of you, that would be great, because we're going to walk through it step by step together. And please note any questions that you have, and you can submit those questions and DEEL will answer them at the email that's on the slide here with the subject header. You can also attend an upcoming info session that we have that I'll talk about in just a moment. Here's some information about how we're going to be spending our time together today. So you can see we'll walk through the timeline, give you some background about this request for proposal. We're going to go through the response areas together, as well as the criteria and objectives that will be used when reviewing the proposals. And then lastly, we'll walk through how you can supply using the submittable platform. In terms of timeline, the request for proposal has been open since Monday, September 16th, 2024. We are going to have an upcoming live technical assistance and information session. That's going to be on Wednesday, October 2nd at 4 p.m. You can join that meeting. It's a Teams meeting by clicking on the link that's here on the slide. It's also posted on the DEEL funding webpage. And again, you can note your questions that arise as you watch this video, and then please feel free to attend that live technical session, and we can respond to any questions there as well. You can also submit questions to the DEEL funding email, and that open question period is Monday, September 16th through Wednesday, October 16th, 2024. The application deadline, so the last day to turn your proposal in via submittable, is Friday, October 18th by 11:59 p.m. The submittable application will close at that point, and we cannot accept late submissions. So please do note that time on your calendars. Then we will have a community review panel who is scoring and deliberating the proposals. The period for that process is Monday, October 21st through Friday, November 22nd. And then we hope to notify all applicants if they were selected, if their proposal was selected and awarded funding by Wednesday, November 27th. That is pending passage of the 2025-2026 budget by City Council and Mayor's Office. So there may be a delay of a few days or so due to the timing of that process. However, we do hope to notify all applicants of their funding status by that November 27th date. Please do note that all of these dates are subject to change, and that we will not provide individual updates to applicants. Instead, we really encourage everyone to regularly check the DEEL funding webpage for any changes to this timeline or the application process in general. So a little bit of background for you. This is our kind of purpose for this request for proposal. Is we are trying to identify eligible telehealth service providers that will support the mental well-being of Seattle's diverse student population. And our primary goal is to identify services that are culturally specific and responsive, and that are tailored to meet the unique needs of our community. Additional information regarding the planned future investment approach is available on a citywide report that was produced and published by the City of Seattle's Innovation and Performance Department, and it is linked here on the slide. Just want to reiterate, this is a closed request for proposal process. It is open by invitation only to organizations who previously applied to the request for information process that was open a few months ago. All applicants should have been notified that they were eligible to apply for this request for proposal via email by DEEL. If you did not apply for the request for information that was previously open, and you did not receive an invitation from DEEL to apply for this request for proposal, you are not eligible to apply. Also want to point to the fact that DEEL will consider awarding funds to multiple vendors via this process. And that's going to be dependent upon the results of the community panel's review, scoring, and deliberation period. And it will depend on the needs of our students and if one or multiple providers can best meet those needs. So the request for proposal application lays out 8 response areas that we ask for you to develop your proposal around. You can see those here, and then we'll walk through them a little more in depth together. The first is partnership. The second is outreach and marketing. The third is removing barriers. The fourth is youth experience. The fifth is culturally specific and responsive. The sixth is capacity building and budget. The seventh is timeline. And then the 8th section is data and reporting. The first section is partnerships. If you go to the RFP overview document, this section is the prompts are articulated on pages 3 and 4 of that overview document. And at a high level, this section is asking you to detail your partnerships with either K-12 schools and districts, or if you partner with an older population of youth, so 18 to 24, beyond K-12. If you partner with both, please do articulate your partnership experience with both, but it is not a requirement for this RFP for you to serve the full age range. So please just detail the age range that you are planning on serving and articulate your partnerships in that space. Also gives you an opportunity to describe how you fit within the youth ecosystem of supports. So strong proposals will demonstrate the ability to build relationships and successful partnerships with leadership, staff, and administration for youth telehealth services. That's both within K-12 schools and districts and or colleges or other post-secondary partners. Also looking for you to be able to bolster coordination and partnership with existing student support systems, and for you to fit services within the youth ecosystem of supports in order to support more successful implementation. The second section is outreach and marketing. This prompt is detailed on page 4 of the RFP overview document, and asks you to articulate your outreach and marketing plan, as well as tell us how you'll ensure that youth are aware of your services. Strong answers in the proposal will demonstrate an understanding of the differentiated needs of diverse communities. We're also looking for organizations that have an ability to reach youth and families through multiple avenues and referral sources. We want to see an understanding of and experience with social media as an outreach tool, and any relevant experience you have with leveraging and coordinating with the current screening and referral systems that are available to youth in order to reach our focused student populations and also ensure that youth are receiving the appropriate level of mental health care. The third section in the proposal is removing barriers. The prompts are detailed on page 4 of the RFP overview document. And we ask you to articulate your strategies for overcoming access barriers, as well as your strategy implementation for addressing these barriers. So strong proposals will demonstrate an understanding of youth mental health climate. So what are the challenges that you've seen? What are the needs that you all have seen that could be addressed by your services? We want to see evidence such as data points, input from students, families, or staff, really wanting to see that you understand some of the challenges that youth face in accessing mental health care. And then we want to see that you have the ability to implement these strategies in order to address these challenges, and that you can support youth mental health with increased access to services. The fourth section is youth experience. This is on page 4 of the request for proposal overview document. The prompts ask you to tell us how services are relevant and responsive to youth voice and youth needs, and what your youth engagement strategy is. So how do you engage with the youth that you serve? A strong proposal will demonstrate your ability to implement a specific plan to collect and analyze youth feedback and information from the youth who participate in your services. We want to know how you plan on learning about their experience using your services, their experience of care through your services, and how you're going to authentically engage with youth in order to be responsive to their feedback. And what are you going to do with that feedback? How are you going to use it to improve service delivery? The fifth section is culturally specific and responsive. Prompts are detailed again on page 4 of the RFP overview document. Prompts guide you through ways to explain how you are having a culturally specific, responsive approach to the services you're offering. What are differentiated services through that CSR approach, with strong proposals demonstrating your ability to serve diverse youth communities. So we're looking for current user demographic data that you can provide us that will show that you do serve diverse youth communities. And for demographics, we're looking at things like specific race, ethnicities, as well as gender identities, or any other demographic data that you would like to point our attention to. And then we want to see that you have the ability to implement telehealth services that are differentiated based on the strengths and cultural assets of the youth populations that you identified, with accountability structures in place as well that ensures the fidelity of a culturally specific, responsive approach to services. The sixth section is capacity building and budget. Prompts are detailed on pages 4 and 5 of the RFP overview document, asking you to provide a capacity building plan. This is also where you'll outline the cost per student as well as your proposed budget. In a strong proposal, we'll see a plan for staffing and administration of telehealth services that's clear, that's commensurate with the intended scale and capacity range that you've identified serving. And we also want to see reasonable estimated wait times for youth who are receiving services. We also want to see your budget clearly articulated, and we want it to include the cost per student, the average number of sessions. If you do take insurance, any role of insurance towards payment, any additional costs that you might incur in building up your capacity. Section 7 is timeline, detailed on page 5 of the overview document, asking you to provide an implementation timeline with key milestones. Strong proposals will have a clear description of that timeline. It will outline the relevant activities and key milestones that we need to hit in order to be on track towards full implementation of services. And we do want to see alignment between the capacity building and budget sections with this timeline section. And then the last section is data and reporting. Prompts for this are detailed on page 5 of the RFP overview document. This is where we ask about your operational data infrastructure, as well as your ability to track youth outcomes. In a strong proposal, we'll see a clear plan for tracking service delivery and participation, with service delivery quality and outcomes with specific measures, targets, and existing or proposed data sources pointed out. We also want to see that you've demonstrated an understanding of the risk and protective factors that can influence student mental health, with a corresponding description of any anticipated changes that you would expect to see in student mindsets, behaviors, or other indicators upon receiving your services. And we want to see demonstrated experience in using monitoring and evaluation to inform service quality. So those are all of the sections and prompts that we ask for you to respond to as you develop your proposal. On page 6 and 7 of the request for proposal overview document, you will see the scoring criteria. As we just walked through the previous slides, as I articulated the things that strong proposals would demonstrate or show, those directly correlate with the RFP application scoring. So you'll see there's 15 points for partnership, outreach and marketing, culturally specific and responsive, capacity building and budget, and data and reporting. 10 points in the removing barriers and youth experience sections, and then 5 points in the timeline section for a total of 100 possible points. In order to submit your proposal, you have to use the online application form. The online application form that DEEL uses is submittable. All of you who are eligible to apply for this RFP have previously submitted an RFI using submittable, so I don't anticipate a lot of issues or questions with the use of the platform. So I'll walk through this pretty quickly. There's 3 steps to apply. Again, a video is linked here if you need a demo of the 3 steps. But most of you are probably just returning users to Submittable, given that you submitted your RFI on this platform. So you would just sign up using the link. And in order to fill in the application form, you can do that directly through the Submittable form. You can save your work along the way. Like the RFI, we do have an offline Word template that's linked here that's available for you to collaborate with others on your team. And then you will submit that application form. It closes automatically on October 18th, 2024, exactly at 11:59 p.m. You should receive an email confirmation at that point that the application was successfully submitted. There's FAQs here. Again, I'm not going to walk through them, knowing that all of you did submit an application via Submittable for the RFI, but they are listed here on the slides and have to do with creating a Submittable account, filling in the online application form, and then submitting the application on Submittable. If you don't receive that email confirmation after you submit, please do email DEEL at deelfunding@seattle.gov and let us know that you did not receive that so that we can troubleshoot any of those issues. You can also save a copy of your submitted application following the instructions here. And if you do have future questions, please do submit them to the deelfunding@seattle.gov email. Allow 3 business days for answers to be posted to our frequently asked questions, or please do attend the live TA and info session that takes place on October 2nd at 4 p.m. Thank you very much and good luck as you finish up your proposals.